is NBC Montana Today.
Good morning, Montana. I'm Jason Ersk. As you pour your coffee and make breakfast, let's get you informed and ready to take on your Monday. Coming up over the next half hour, the body of a missing woman has been recovered in Missoula. Latest details. Plus, Missoula residents gathered in McCormick Park on Sunday to support public lands. Hear what sparked the rally and how many residents participated. And in this week's Montana Moment, Kevin Mackey shares why one local egg producer is in such high demand and how they are being impacted by the spike in egg prices.
Well, the time is 6:30 on a Monday morning. Hopefully, you had a chance to enjoy the sunshine yesterday. And of course, really the sunshine both Saturday and Sunday with temperatures 50s and 60s. It was a nice weekend. Temperatures not too bad for us this morning with Kalispell and Missoula right around 40. We're at 28 in Butte. It's 34 in Bozeman. A little bit of light rain for us this morning in the Missoula area. It's light snow, though, over Lookout Pass and Lolo Pass. That's where we could see some snow accumulate throughout the day. Day planner for us, kind of losing that shower threat once we get into the afternoon. Still a bit breezy later on today. Temperatures generally in the low 40s for us in the Missoula area. For Bozeman, here's a look at your day planner. Increasing cloud cover is what we'll go with for you in Bozeman. Not expecting a big threat of showers. Temperatures will be in the upper 40s, close to 50 at 2 p.m. Active weather, almost daily threat of showers this week. We're timing it out in about 10 minutes.
We begin with a story that we've been covering for over 2 weeks, and the Missoula Police Department reports the body of Denise Elric was recovered from the Clark Fork River near Bear Tracks Bridge Sunday evening. The Missoula Police Department reportedly responded to a 911 call where the caller claimed to have seen a human body in the river. Once officers arrived on scene, they confirmed it was Ulrich and requested the assistance of the Missoula Fire Department to assist in recovery efforts. Ulrich's dog, Bamba, has not been recovered at this time. Ulrich and Bamba were reported as missing and were believed to have drowned on February 21st. Hundreds of Montanans met at McCormick Park in Missoula to rally in support of public lands Sunday afternoon.
Whose lands? It works.
And at the rally, hundreds of residents gathered to demonstrate their frustrations and concerns for the future of Montana's public lands and community. The rally was sparked by recent federal budget cuts that resulted in job losses for land management agencies. And an organizer of the event says the federal reduction's impact on public lands affects everyone.
Those folks in charge, they say, you know, we're not firing firefighters, but you know what? They are. Because you know who firefighters are besides the ones that don't have firefighter in their job title? Archaeologists, engineers, biologists, executive assistants. These folks carry something called a red card. That red card means they're trained to fight fire.
The event reflects a growing movement across the state as communities express alarm over the erosion of public lands and management. This morning, we are taking a closer look at one of the top priorities for President Trump. His mass deportation plan has faced some roadblocks, which top officials now blame for what they see as slow progress. Here's national correspondent Christine Frizzell.
From an apartment complex in Baltimore, Maryland, to a construction site in Big Fork, Montana, the targeted enforcement efforts by immigration agents inside this country have carried on just about every day since President Donald Trump took office. But there appears to be a widening divide over the best approach to immigration enforcement. Some Democrats urging citizens and non-citizens alike to resist arrest.
What ICE tries to do is that they rely on people not knowing their rights in order to enter buildings, in order to search workplaces, etc. So when you know your rights, you are able to tell them no, and they do walk away.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez blasted by border czar Tom Homan.
She's actually telling people how to evade law enforcement, and because of that, the last operation in New York City, a lot of people weren't opening their doors. A lot of people were hiding based on so-called education from various members of Congress. We're talking about child rapists that we weren't able to apprehend because They took an advice from people, how to evade law enforcement.
He and other Trump border officials blaming lower than expected numbers of deportations on leakers, originally pointing the finger at the FBI for sharing dates, times, and locations of raids, though so far the only two arrested were from DHS.
These two were leaking our enforcement operations that we had planned and were going to conduct in several cities and expose law enforcement to vulnerabilities, to those ops being jeopardized to where their lives would be in danger.
Nome confirming polygraph tests are now being conducted on others, warning of prosecution and up to 10 years behind bars. Immigration and Customs Enforcement now has a new man at the top. Todd Lyons has been chosen to replace Caleb Vitello as acting ICE director. Vitello was reassigned a few weeks ago, yet another sign that bringing up the number of arrests and deportations remains a top priority for the Trump administration. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
5 people are being treated for injuries after their plane crashed in Pennsylvania on Sunday. This is the aftermath of a crash in the parking lot of a retirement community in Lancaster County. Investigators say the plane may have skidded on the ground about 100 feet and hit multiple cars. Nobody on the ground was reported injured. According to the FAA, the small plane had just taken off from Lancaster Airport on the way to Springfield, Ohio. 2 people who live at the retirement home say some of those hurt had burn marks and did not say much.
Both him and I saw the 5 people crawl out of the plane, crawl over to the grass, and they laid there to get their breath, and then they all stood up supporting each other and came over closer to the building, and then they all laid down on the grass again.
The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating alongside the Federal Aviation Administration and local officials. U.S. Secret Service personnel were involved in a shooting near the White House early Sunday morning, following an encounter with an armed person of interest. According to a statement from the Secret Service, local police shared information about a potentially suicidal individual who may be traveling to Washington, D.C. from Indiana. 2 sources have confirmed to NBC News that the suspect has been identified as 27-year-old Andrew Dawson from North Manchester, Indiana. Around midnight, members of the Secret Service located Dawson's parked car. After making contact, he reportedly displayed a firearm, leading to an exchange of gunfire. The suspect was hit and transported to an area hospital. No Secret Service personnel were injured. The D.C. Police Department will lead the investigation into the shooting. Sunday marked the commemoration of the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday in Selma, Alabama. On that day 60 years ago, police attacked hundreds of civil rights demonstrators who were taking part in a peaceful march. Hundreds of people, as well as state and national leaders, made the pilgrimage Sunday despite bad weather, all marching across the iconic Edmund Pettus Bridge, the site where demonstrators were beaten by officers as they tried to march across Alabama in support of voting rights. And Sunday's march is among dozens of events during the annual Selma Bridge Crossing Jubilee, which began on Thursday. And we now visit with Chief Meteorologist Brooke Foster, who is standing by. And Brooke, it's 6:38, means one thing. That is time for your bus stop forecast. What kind of challenges are the kids dealing with at this hour?
You know, we've had a little bit of wind. We're seeing a few showers, fairly hit or miss for us this morning around western Montana. But I'll tell you this, at least those kiddos aren't having to bundle up too much. We're fairly mild. 6:38 this morning. Live look, Kalispell and Missoula. We've had a couple of isolated showers making their way in. A whole lot of wind, though. Winds have been gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour. This morning, you'll dodge a few showers. By the afternoon, you'll enjoy a little bit of sunshine. Temperatures not as warm as yesterday, but we'll still hover right around 50 degrees this afternoon in Kalispell. Missoula will be at 41 at around lunchtime, 47 as we head into that 3 to 4 o'clock hour. Winds will diminish, but we'll keep those clouds around as we head into the afternoon. Now, we're seeing rain in our valley locations, but snow levels down to around 4,000 feet, and that means we're tracking accumulating snow. I'll tell you how much in about 10 minutes.
Coming up in this week's in a moment, Kevin Mackey shares why one local egg producer is in such high demand and how they are being impacted by the spike in egg prices. First, let's take a live look over Missoula from above TD Mountain at Snowbowl. from the Community Medical Center weather camera. Chief Meteorologist Brooke Foster has your day planner right after the break.